Hello and welcome to the creaking salt-soaked tables of the Brazen Hydra pub in Bilgewater. We're your hosts and Grove End.
Conquest.
And today we'll be sharing a pint and talking all things Runeterra and beyond. A lot of topics coming at you today. Obviously, it's February. We're going to be talking Bandle. A lot of lore in that game. It's the last Riot Forge title. We're going to touch on it. Another thing is Riot Games making a turn-based strategy game set in Runeterra? Some rumors with a lot of supporting evidence there. We'll go over some beasts we may see in the Riot MMO. It's important to know what we're killing, right? You don't want to walk in there and kill a fairy. You want to start off on the right track and say, you know, this is a dog or this is a wolf. You don't mess
True.
around. Yeah. And the end of Legends of Runeterra. Is this the end of Legends of Runeterra? And we'll probably finish off a little bit of lore consolidation with the change in directions from Riot Games recently.
All right.
So first things first, let's talk a little bit of Bandle.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Yes, I'm talking.
I know you. Yeah, I forgot. I'm excited for Bandle. I know you're particularly a fan of the Yordles.
Absolutely. Like I said before, this is not really like my kind of game that I would normally play, but because the Yordles are involved, I'm naturally inclined. You know, this is the Riot Forge game I've been waiting for, since we already both picked up on the fact that they're doing a different, or they were doing a different zone, different continent, different area, however you want to put it, different landmass for each Riot Forge game. Bandle City was inevitable, and now it's here. I can't freaking wait to play it.
I feel like there wasn't. So I do a lot of lore videos for separate characters. If you look on my channel, you'll notice that I haven't done a single Yordle.
You really not done a single Yordle?
Yeah, no, I have not done a single Yordle. And I'll tell you why. There's really not a lot of footage of Yordles. There's one cinematic. You can do Heimerdinger, but pretty much my whole video will be arcane. There's really not a lot of background footage. I mean, if you want to do a video on Corki, a lot of it would be a still image. And that's what I try to avoid with my lore videos. Like I don't want to keep it just a still image. And I want to use as few images as possible. I want to have them videos that type into what I'm saying. There's not a lot of footage of any of the Yordles. There's one cinematic where it's like it's a Bilgewater cinematic, really. And you see a little bit of Lulu, Teemo, Corki, and Tristana. And then Viger has his own little couple cinematics, but there's not a lot. That's why I'm kind of excited for Bandle too, because I hope I'll be able to get more footage enough to put out some lore videos on all these characters.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't think, to be honest, just by looking at Bandle, I don't think it's going to be a very cutscene heavy game at all. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be like Stardew Valley, where it was essentially like no cutscenes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm expecting to just be mostly like, you know, when you're talking to a character, they're going to have their character art and they're going to just display text, basically. Have them talk that way.
Yeah, but even just being able to like show them doing stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, if you want to talk about events that happen in Bandle, you'll have some footage for that at least.
Yeah, and like if I'm talking about Teemo, you know, maybe there's like Teemo's, maybe, or like say I'm talking about Tristana, you know, I can show some footage of Tristana's workshop or something. Be like, you know, she resides in, you know, there's more footage to pull from than what I have now.
Yeah, just a little bit more Bandle City in the world. I think that's what we all need, regardless of if we're Entgrove or not.
Yeah. So I wanted to read this too a little bit. So if you go to Bandle website, right here at the top, this is like kind of your background for going into the game. What you're gonna end up you start as.
Yeah.
So
let's hear it.
So it's from Lazy Bear Games. They're they're one of those small partners gonna be working with Riot on the title. And in this game, you are a shy Yordle living in Yarnville. I've never heard of Yarnville. All I've heard is Bandle City, which I think is like the city. And maybe there's a lot more to the Yordles in the spirit realm than we think.
Yeah, I assume it's just Bandle City, and then everything outside of Bandle City is the spirit realm. It could be a town within Bandle City, unless Bandle City is actually just a city, and that's it. Because I always assume Bandle City is much bigger than an actual city, you know? But who really knows? We don't know much about the actual landscape of it, at least as far as I know.
Yeah. So let me finish the context. So
Yeah, yeah.
and then I think we'll be able to like really hone in on what this place is.
All
So
right, all
you're
right.
a cozy. So you're a shy Yordle living in Yarnville, a cozy but isolated island obsessed with all things knitting. When your 101-year-long apprenticeship ends, you want nothing more than to see what lies beyond the portals that connect to the rest of Bandle City. But when a party you attend goes horribly wrong, the portals collapse and everything is thrown into chaos. So that actually is pretty loaded right there if you
Yeah,
know the
what
lore.
the heck? Yeah, I didn't realize there was
Yeah.
gonna be some like world-ending plot going on. I thought you were just gonna farm stuff.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, so I mean
okay.
it looks like there's going to be a story. I don't know if it's canon or not. Like we'll have to see
Ooh.
that.
I mean,
But there's
y-
a
yeah, I see what you mean.
they
Like,
haven't
I
said
was gonna
anything
say,
yet.
like, they got the whole, they're consolidating the lore. They're doing that, but then Bandle probably started. It's very possible Bandle started development and the writing everything before they made that decision. Because who knows how long Bandle
Yeah.
has been in development for? So that's up in the air. If I think Bandle the last like piece of Runeterra content that we're going to see that may or may not be canon.
Hmm.
That's interesting.
And then also so it definitely is the last piece that I think will a lot of the other stuff going forward is definitely going to be canon.
Yeah, I
This is the
agree.
last one where I'm wishy-washy, and even the only one that we know for sure from Riot Forge that is canon is Song of Nunu.
Yeah,
But
true. Hmm.
But going back to what they're saying here, they're saying you're in this area and these using portals to connect to the rest of Bandle City. So I guess Bandle City might be a lot bigger than we thought it was. I always thought Bandle City was one thing, but
You
maybe
thought it
like
was an
any
actual, just
portal.
like a city. You
Yeah,
thought Bandle City was the size of like Chicago,
yeah, I thought it was a city.
which is fair. Like I get that. It's literally called Bandle City, but like
Yeah, but it's almost like a country
yeah,
called Bandle City.
yeah. I imagine it's more like an actual proper like yeah, like countryside, like landscape that we're working with here, and there are towns within it.
Yep. And then they're also talking about these portals. But if you're wondering, Yordles are very big on portals because Runeterra is actually linked to the spirit realm. It's linked to Bandle City in a lot of different places. And there's pathways that really mortals don't often see, but they open under like specific circumstances. But you need to be able to read and interpret the language of the Yordles to use them. So portals have always been a big thing when it comes to Yordles and whatnot. And they have even the Bandlewood, which is the Bandlewood is portals that shift over time, but Bandlewood stay rooted in a single location. So unlike other portals that are moving around, the
Hmm.
Bandlewood is pretty stationary. And the magic of the spirit realm, kind of because it's stationary, ebbs and flows there. And so you kind of see like almost like Bandle City is leaking the magic of Bandle City and the spirit realm is leaking into our world. And so like the
Oh,
fauna is different and stuff.
oh, we got some like distortion of reality through these
Yeah.
Bandlewood portals. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you
Yordles
said
are
there are certain.
interesting.
Oh, I love Yordles. I love everything about them. Magical little dudes. They're great. And I love that they're so nonsensical right now. Like we know so little about how
We really
Yordles
do.
or cause like yeah, the whole spirit world, like we know nothing about it. And the Bandles have their freaking capital origin area of coming from. They come from there. We know nothing about it. It's so good. But you said there's like certain conditions to these portals opening. I assumed it was completely chaotic. I assumed it was completely
No, no.
random. Okay.
No, there's some portals that only open with basically a series of specific gestures. These are secret portals. Not everyone is able to find them. Not everyone is able to read them, and not everyone can even open them. And they're usually there's an image, right? If you go to the Bandle City page on the Runeterra map, if you look at geometry of transit, like that particular portal is in a deep cavern and it only shows up when there's low tide, reveals the pattern of the runic circles, which fills the indentations with seawater, and then you could see it. But even then, I mean, you have to be able to read the incantation to be able to use it.
My God,
So that's how
dude.
secret this stuff is. You gotta Yordles sometimes get back, like spend so much time in Runeterra, they forget how to get back to Bandle City. They don't even know how to that happened. Yeah, there's that one
They're just
example
stuck
which
there, like they're just in Runeterra
yeah,
now. That's it.
they don't even know how to get back. Like in Mage Seeker, there's that Yordle, and she's like, I don't even remember. I haven't barely spent any time with Yordles. I don't even remember how to get back to Bandle City. She's just living amongst the mages of Demacia, the
What the
outcasts.
heck, dude? That's
She doesn't even
absurd to
care,
me.
but yeah.
Oh my! I mean, like, I'm sure if a girl does get lost, you know, like you can. Well, I think in her case, she's probably not gonna find another Yordle anytime soon. But I'm sure you can find another Yordle and just be like, you know, I'm a Yordle, you're a Yordle. How do I get
We're
back?
all
Please,
Yordles.
please show me a portal. Show me the closest incantation.
I mean, there really aren't too many Yordles in our world, though. When you really think about it, you got who? You've got. I mean, they come to our world. They spend time in Runeterra, but a lot of them do go back. There's only a few that I know of, such as Heimerdinger,
Mhm.
that spend a lot of time in Runeterra and never go back.
Oh
Like some
man.
of them come and go. Like Tristana comes and goes. Viger is pretty much he was here for a while, but now he's back in Bandle City. I don't know ever remember Rumble ever coming to Runeterra, although I'm sure he has. Like Timo, Corky, Lulu, all these Yordles kind of come and go. Versus there's the one in Demacia, I always forget her name, who's kind of permanently she's in Demacia. And then Heimerdinger is permanently in. And there's another one too. He's
Is
from that one
Poppy
game.
a Demacia
Poppy,
only?
that's the one.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
had a feeling.
she's in Demacia. Like she's not
Yeah,
even
she
gonna be
looks
in this
very
game.
Demacian. Like she does not look like she's going back to Bandle City anytime soon.
Yeah, she's not even in the game. Like you won't see Poppy or Heimerdinger.
Yeah, I believe it. That's just wild though. Oh man. How I wonder how much that's inspired by the elves in Tolkien's work, Lord of the Rings specifically. You know, like the
But
elves
you see some
sail west.
similarities.
Yeah, because you know the elves in
Ooh.
Lord of the Rings, um they'll come to like the land, the realms of humans and hobbits and dwarves and you know whatever else, trolls and whatnot. But at the end of the day, they eventually yearn to go back to the land of the elves, which is them sailing
Ooh.
west. You know, that's the whole like Aragorn and his love is an elf. That's like their whole thing. She has to go back west. She chooses not to, and they lose their immortality if they stay there too long before going back.
Yo, that's a very interesting connection. I don't know of Yordles losing their immortality. They're not immortal, but they have a very long lifespan. Like they look at human you if you when you guys watch Arcane, right, you see Heimerdinger talk to man, a Victor. And he talks about Victor and he's like, sometimes I lose sight of how short mortal lives are. And
Wow.
because that's one of the thing
It,
Heimerdinger, he's very cautious, right? That's one of the things about Hextech is they're advancing too fast in Arcane. He's like, you guys need to slow down. This is magic. This could be dangerous. I've seen magic destroy worlds because he was around for the Rune Wars. So this guy knows magic is very dangerous. And so now they're
yeah.
experimenting with Hextech, and he's like, we need to slow down. But and then
Oh
Victor
man.
is trying to speed things up because Hextech is what he's wants to save his life. Like has a debilitating condition. He's gonna die. And Heimerdinger acknowledges this at the end when he meets with Victor. He's like in Zon, and he says, I forgot the exact line, but he does say, I forget how short mortal lives are. To me, I live hundreds of years, so waiting a little bit doesn't matter." And even Jace acknowledges at the beginning. He's like, this guy wants to wait forever, but because he lives so long, like we mortals, we humans don't have that long. Like we need to advance during our
Oh
lifetime. We can't just have everything go on. Yeah, it's like a big. They talk about it more than a couple of times in the story of
wow,
Arcane.
dude. Oh, that's pretty
So
philosophical. Holy damn, the Yordles get deep. I mean, I guess when you're that old, yeah, you start you see some things like the Rune Wars.
yeah, yeah.
That'll definitely yeah, that'll definitely make you a bit more cautious, a bit more rugged of a Yordle. I can see that happening. And it's so funny because Yordles are so like they come off as so like whimsical and almost like childlike, you know, with just like how like cheerful they can be and stuff. But then it's like, yeah, they've probably been through a lot.
Viger,
Most
man.
Yordles,
I
I'm
always feel
sure.
bad for Viger.
Man, dude. Yeah, especially in the world of
Viger
Runeterra.
is yeah. Viger or Vigar. I'm probably butchering his name. I'll get it right if I ever do a lore video. He spent all that time in Demacia imprisoned. That's
Oh
why
my
he
god.
like now thinks he's evil and he tries to be evil, but people still think that he's not really evil. He just
That's so
like it's a
sad.
facade. He wants to be evil, but he's having trouble.
Like he wants his like big like evil revenge story, but he just
Yeah,
doesn't have it in him. That's so sad.
exactly.
What the heck,
Yeah,
dude?
because
Even
they
even I was
imprisoned him
laughing
for
at
a
him. I
long
was like, what a
time.
silly little dude. That's just rough. Now I feel sorry for him. Now I feel like I'm being mean.
Yeah, he's a really interesting character. I'm excited to see more of him in Bandle Tale.
Yeah, dude. Oh, does he voyage back to Bandle City ever? Like, do we know that of him?
Oh, he's in Bandle City. He went back
Oh,
after he like finally made it out of Demacia.
mhm.
He went back to Bandle City, and
Oh.
I don't even know if he wants to come back unless it's like to destroy the world kind of thing.
Oh man, dude, that's so sad. Like he just went home afterwards. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
a,
No, all
a
right,
lore
I'm never
video
gonna look at him
on
the
him
same
is
way
I think
anymore.
overdue.
Yeah, I agree. Bro needs some closure. Give him all of the happiness he needs, Riot, please, for my sake, so I can sleep at night. That's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. The rest of them are pretty like Tristana's story is not that sad, you know. He's just happy. The rest of them are like what you're saying, right?
Yeah, like most like
Like
Yordles are
Teemo's
generally gonna
kind
be
of like,
lighthearted. Teemo's the definition of like,
yeah,
yeah, he's just like a lighthearted Yordle. He's just a happy
things
guy.
just work out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, things just work out.
Play my flute. Shoot a
Yeah,
dart.
dude. Yeah, see that's the kind of Yordle that does not go to Runeterra is the
Yeah.
Teemo. Because
Yeah, he'll
honestly,
go,
if I
but
were a
he
Yordle,
always returns to Bandle
yeah,
City.
yeah. If I were a Yordle, I don't think I'd be spending too much time in Runeterra. I'm gonna be honest. That place, there's a lot going on there. All right, they got a lot more problems than I would need. I'm gonna live in Bandle City. I think when the MMO drops, I'm not leaving Bandle City.
I hope it's in the game. I hope that they have like subsections of these regions. I hope there is a Bandle City expansion because I think there's a lot to
Me
Bandle
too.
City,
I think like a whole
and
Spirit
it
World
needs to
expansion,
be
right? Like
yeah, like
there's so
almost
much
Bandle
there.
City is our hub for the Spirit World expansion, like our first journey into there because we're allied with the Yordles kind of thing.
Yeah, apps. I think that's one thing that's super like I can't see it going any other way. You know, like eventually we're gonna explore the spirit world. There's no way we don't. And
Yeah,
Bandle City just makes too much sense to have as like a hub for everything going on in that expansion. If they go that route, who knows with this MMO, dude? They might not even do capital cities during expansions. That's just kind of something we assume from so many other MMOs, because every other MMO does that. But who
yeah,
knows? But that's just my guess. Is Spirit World expansion, Bandle City main hub, and hopefully if you make a Yordle in the vanilla game, you still like at least start out in Bandle City. You know, do like some like a small chunk of Bandle City before you take a
yeah,
portal
like a
to
little
like
area,
wherever.
little starting area before you
Yeah, yeah,
go
little
back. You go
starting
to
area.
Runeterra,
Yeah, yeah. Because
and
I feel like as a Yordle not
that's
being
it.
able to go to Bandle City, that would hurt. That'd be rough.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want. You have to start in Bandle City. I feel, and then you can kind of take a portal into Runeterra. And same thing goes for the Freljord. I don't think
Yeah,
there's a lot of directions that they could go. I have a whole video on it.
dude.
Like
There's
they
so
could
much.
definitely
There's
include
so
all of
much.
Valoran, but the Freljord's got so much lore and so much going on with the Watchers and the Yetis, and there's so much story and the
Yeah,
freaking
dude.
shamans and all
Heck,
this.
bro,
There's a
you're
lot
past
going on in the
like
Freljord. You need expansion.
yeah, absolutely. Like the past like month, you've just been doing Ornn and Volibear stuff, and there's so much, and that's
I'm not.
all just
I moved
Freljord.
on. I moved on. I was like, okay, that's enough Orn and Volibear. Like, I'm not gonna do every single short
Dude,
story.
there's so
Let's just get
much.
past it.
Come back to that one because and that's like not even just like that's a small tiny speck of the Freljord, right? Like you could talk about the Freljord for maybe like 5 hours straight and never mention Ornn or Volibear.
Yeah,
And there's still
absolutely.
so much that they do in the Freljord. It's crazy. That continent has way too much going on. That section of the world.
Yeah, but see,
My
I'd still
God.
want to be able to play, I really feel like a shaman. I know we're not talking about classes this today, but
Mhm.
there's a class that I think would be really good for the game is a shaman, like a Freljordian shaman, where you kind of tapping into the nature. And by the way, when you talk about a Freljord shaman, they train under Udyr, a lot of them. They follow Udyr, a lot of them.
Mhm.
But they kind of tap into the spirits of nature. And that doesn't just mean Freljord. Although they're from the Freljord, eventually Udyr does go to Ionia and he taps into the nature spirits in Ionia. And so like if he's in Ionia, he's using the spirits of Ionia, those kind of animals or whatever. But I feel like
Yeah.
that's such a cool class, and like being able to shift between the different animals kind of thing would be very cool. And so I would hope that even if Freljord isn't included, it's like a little starting area in the Freljord. You meet Udyr, you train under him for a little bit, and then you move on to Runeterra. Same thing with Bandle City, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's something that we've seen other MMOs do. And I always think it works out surprisingly well. Like I'm always worried of like cutting players off from the rest of the world, but in the case of a starting zone, it's like perfect because if anything, you're just going to see other level 1 to 10 characters that are either the same race or the same class as you, or maybe even both.
Hmm.
To the point where it's like, oh yeah, these are my peeps. That's my fellow Yordles. There they are. This is what they're like. So it kind of secludes you before opening you up to the world, and then you start seeing like, oh my, all these other different places. This is so different from Bandle City. What the heck? Why is everything so spiky in this city? You know, that kind of stuff is like, I love that. I love the idea of little starting zones that just give you a lot of flavor for whatever your race or class is in Runeterra. Especially because Runeterra can definitely do that for just how different every location is and how different all the cultures are. I could
Yeah,
totally
you
see
want
that
to feel
happening.
connected to it. You like that's
Yeah,
your initial connection to the world. Like, okay,
yeah,
let's say that you are the shaman in the Freljord and you leave the Freljord. Later on, when you see another shaman, you're like, oh yeah, we both started in that area in
yeah,
the Freljord, and now we're all the way down here in Shurima. But like same
yeah.
thing goes with a Yordle. Like, you're out in the world and you see another Yordle and you're like, oh yeah, we're both from Bandle City.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, I'm sure there's plenty of people who just like don't know about like the Yordles or Demacia going into it, and they're just gonna pick whatever looks cool, and then you get to see what that choice actually means. You know, you
Exactly.
yeah, dude, you get that flavor of like, all right, I'm a Yordle. That means we're in this bright, happy sunshine land full of other fluffy little creatures and we make some
Yep.
fun robot technology sometimes. Sometimes we got little woodland homes and it's amazing. Like you just get that vibe before you actually see the rest of it. I love that idea. I'm really into the idea of cool little starting zones. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that way we get Bandle City without actually getting all Bandle City for an expansion later on where they can actually do it justice.
Exactly. That's was literally about to say. You still feel like the world is complete without the world being complete. You still feel
Yeah.
like, okay, Bandle City is in the world. I've seen it, even though
Hmm.
I can't explore it. Freljord is still a part of the world. I've seen it, even though I'm no longer there. But I see those snow-covered mountains in the distance, and I know we're gonna go
Yeah, and you
back.
know
I
that's
know that
home.
place exists. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
God, I
that's
love
what I
that.
think is really important. You could do that for everywhere. You can do that for Ionia too.
Yeah, seriously. You can do that for stinking Ishtal, dude. It's
Yep.
great. And then your character just doesn't remember how to navigate the jungle anymore and they die when they try to go back in. But other than that, it works.
Yeah. I'm sure they could think of something creative.
Oh my god,
That
absolutely.
I really like too. I want to say this. They did a great job with the way Bandle Tale looks, like the hyper saturated, super colorful world and the super colorful characters. Like that's what I thought Bandle City would look like. Because so I'm going to read this excerpt for you from Bandle City and the Runeterra world map.
Ooh, let's hear it.
In Bandle City, it is said that every sensation is heightened for non-Yordles. Colors are brighter. Food and drink intoxicates the senses for years, and once tasted, will never be forgotten. The sunlight is eternally golden, the waters crystal clear, and every harvest brings a fruitful bounty. Perhaps some of these claims are true, or maybe none, for no two tale tellers ever seem to agree on what they actually saw. And for those that do return, like they return and they tell these like unfettered magic, and they say that led astray by myriad wonders, and they're lost in like this dream. And so this is almost what I should be hyper saturated, like almost beyond real. And I feel like that's why, like, I really like the direction that they went for Bandle Tale.
Yeah. No, Bandle definitely gives off a very like dream-like vibe. I think it's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks very like illusionary, where like you don't know what the heck you're gonna see, if you walk out far enough, just walking around the whole
exactly.
area. Yeah, I agree. I love that too, because that has a vibe from Vandal City for sure. That is just like I love how I feel like Vandal City gives you a little taste of what the spirit world's gonna be like. You know, I feel
Yep.
like the spirit world in general is gonna be as chaotic as Bandle City can sort of be. Like there is some structure to Bandle City because at the end of the day, it is like a city. You're gonna have your homes and your shops and all that. But then you also got some stuff that's gonna confuse you a little bit. You have some landscapes, some like stairways that you just don't know what the heck's going on. And I can't wait for the whole spirit world to just be like that. Where it's just gonna be like
Yep.
extreme chaos of you can't there's like sensory overload, like you said, but just on a massive scale.
That's what it looks like. That like you're literally floating on an island in the clouds, picking bananas from trees that light up on the top. That the light turns off when you pick the fruit. Like it's that hyper saturated, like pseudo. It does feel like if you were to dream, like that's what the dream would look like. You know, it's like, oh, you're only
Yeah.
seeing this area kind of thing. Everything else is kind of fogged up, and you're taking these portals between different islands.
Yeah, dude,
I'm
I
excited.
love it. I think they nailed it. I always wonder, Riot Forge specifically. I always wonder like what Riot tells them to do for stuff like this. Like, did they give them pointers of like, yeah, this place has got to be real confusing. It's got to make no sense. like, like for stuff like that, I'm like, do they just really? Do the creators really know Bandle City to a point where they're just like, yeah, do we love Bandle City? We're gonna make this weird, or did Riot specifically tell them to do this? Because either way, it's great, and I feel like it's what I wanted Bandle City to be just from reading about it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that Riot had like some things that were required, and I'm sure like so it's an indie company, so I'm sure there's a lot of creative freedom. But I
Yeah.
bet when they're making a lot of the assets, like they had to be approved by Riot Games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe that absolutely. If I got to run a lot of stuff by them.
Yeah, it's honestly going to be a good year. We've got Bandle Tale coming out. We got Arcane Season 2 coming out towards the end of the year, I think in November. And I want to actually talk to you about that too, that I did not mention at the beginning.
Oh,
And then we
okay.
also got the Riot MMO news, which is going to happen this year. I'm
Oh,
confident,
yeah. Inevitably. Yeah, 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 yeah.
inevitably.
2024, baby.
Well, maybe we'll save Arcane Season 2 for next time. So I didn't even mention it at the beginning, but we'll talk Arcane Season 2 in the next episode.
Oh,
Because there's
yeah.
a lot to
For
go
sure.
over with that. Especially, I'm working on some videos for Singed and for Warwick. So stay tuned for
Oh,
those. And yeah, and so I think
okay.
we'll talk more Arcane Season 2 next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a plan. Be there.
All right, so I want to know which direction you want to go. Do we want to go into beasts we may see in the Riot MMO, what we killing,
Oh,
or
yeah.
do we want to go about this turn-based strategy game set in Runeterra?
Ooh, both of those are topics that I can talk to hell and back. I have opinions on both of these extensively. Tell you what, based on how much time we have, we can talk about enemies and we'll see how long
Yeah,
that takes before my rant juice is over. Because, oh my God, turn based RPG, God, I've played too many. And I have some that I love and some that I hate. And I hope Riot makes one that I love.
yep.
All right. So, as far as enemies go, what are you thinking for like I think I mentioned this once before. It's kind of difficult with what they have written so far. But I always want to know about the little enemies. I always want to know about when I'm like level 10, who am I hurting? Whose life am I ending at level 10 when I can barely swing a sword? You know? I imagine they're
Yeah,
gonna have their
I
share of
got you.
like animals. Yeah. Right. I imagine they're their share of like
Yeah, like
average
what are you going
animals,
to
like
kill in
even
Bandle
in like
City? You know,
yeah.
are you going to be killing a Kraken? The truth is, you're probably not. You're probably not. Now, I'll tell you what you're gonna be killing. If you're in Bilgewater, right? And
Yeah.
you're starting off in Bilgewater, you're a pirate, you're all excited. You're probably gonna be killing some powder monkeys. Okay, that's your first
Yeah.
target. Look, they stole our cannons. Why don't you go get it back? I,
Dude.
I do want to say this too. There's this website called the RiotMMO.com. They have a great list of like all this bestiary of a bunch of creatures that you might see in the RiotMMO. A lot of it's from Legends of Runeterra, and I'm gonna link to that underneath this video. So if you guys want to see some of the beasts that we don't mention, go and check it out.
Oh
But
yeah.
Bilgewater, yeah, not sponsored. I just love the guy who makes the RiotMMO website.
Yeah, that guy's
But Bill,
thorough.
yeah,
It's
thorough,
great.
yeah. Um, So like that there's powder monkeys. Obviously, you're not going to be fighting, if you're in Zon, I think you're going to be fighting some rats, maybe some like those are the kind of creatures. Okay, so let's say that you're starting in Bilgewater. Let's stick there. I think
Hmm.
you'll see powder monkeys and probably wharf rats. Powder monkeys are really they're just monkeys. They're I don't think there's a lot. They're like they're like mischievous. They kind of have that vibe. I think you can tell from the name, like powder monkeys, or they kind of they provide actually some useful magical enhancing gunpowder properties. So there's some little bit about them, but so they do have a little bit of magic to them. But those are the kind of things they'll be fighting. And then wharf rats. Wharf rats are a hybrid of both rat and shark. So that's interesting. I don't know how those mated, but wharf rats exist.
Yeah, what kind of like druidic abomination did they create over there?
They they actually are good. They help dock workers keep the wharf clean. And if you don't know what the wharf is, basically all these guys, these crazy guys, go out and they farm these sea monsters out at sea. And when they kill a huge catch, they bring it over to the wharf and the slaughter docks, and they kind of piece it up and sell it. And
Ooh.
so that's where you'll see wharf rats. And if they're not being helpful, maybe you have to take a few of them out. But they are the size of dogs,
Oh
and
my
they
god.
do attack. So maybe that'll be after you get the cannonballs back from the powder monkeys, you'll be called over to help with the wharf rats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you
Oh
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
I see it happening. But I don't know. All right, between you and me, I don't know if it's just like the me loving Stranglethorn Vale from World of Warcraft, just like a massive jungle that's just dangerous is all heckin' back. But
Hmm.
a part of me hopes that Bilgewater is a later zone. Not like end game, but somewhere in between. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like not like I don't know if people should start out in Bilgewater, but at the same time, I'm guessing if there's like a Buccaneer class or anything like that, anything pirate related, people might want to start off in Bilgewater. But at the same time, I feel like Bilgewater deserves to be more dangerous than say like the outside of Demacia, just like the open green fields. You know what I mean?
Here's what I will say about Bilgewater. Bilgewater is bigger than people think. You cannot even explore all of Bilgewater. It'd be like there's the whole Buhru area, which is Ilawi is of the Buhru. There
Mhm.
is Bilgewater, the city. I would like to see them maybe have a piece of Bilgewater present, and maybe say, because then you could have like a little bit of the Shadow Isles seeping in, some undead threats kind of thing coming into the
Ooh,
game.
yeah.
But keep the Buhru area completely isolated. You can't explore it. The Buhru people don't want you there. It's just like almost like what's in Rune King, and that's it.
Oh,
But
okay.
stay away from all the Buhru stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We just stick to like the docks mostly of like just like the
Yeah.
general piratey city area.
Hmm.
Okay, I can see that because yeah, I like I don't know, dude. Problem is every zone's just so damn good in Runeterra. Like I feel like Bilgewater just has so much going on too. That I'm just like Bilgewater is way too cool for us to not
Every
like.
zone.
Yeah.
Every zone has a lot going on. Like even if you put Demacia and Noxus, you can absolutely have a Demacia expansion where you head into the catacombs where they're torturing mages.
Yo, yeah, and have just some like massive like magic outbreak of some kind in Demacia, right? Some kind of like
Yep.
rebellion against this whole regime going on there. Like I definitely I hope we see like massive changes like that in the world. Like, you know, like because like
Yeah.
looking back at World of Warcraft, right? Like how long is the capital city of the gnomes in World of Warcraft? How long has that been not accessible?
Like a year. Just a
Yeah,
year.
dude. Like, like no around. Wait, no, we can't go back in there, right? They just recently gave us back one city that was gone since like it was never there to begin with since like 2000 like 7.
What city is that?
Gilneas.
I'm honestly, I'm not up to date anymore. That's
Wow,
how bad I
really?
am.
That's
Yeah, I'm
wild.
not up to date anymore. I'm not even aware.
Oh my god, yeah, no, they do give us Gilneas. It's like a half capital city, though. It's not like a real capital city. But I'm hoping,
Oh, really?
yeah. So like stuff, big things like that don't really change too often in a game like World of Warcraft, and I think it's because the devs are afraid to make big changes without making people mad. You know what I mean? Like even in the case of like how we lost Undercity, like a capital city in World of Warcraft. Same with Teldrassil. You know, we lost two capital cities, but you don't really lose them. You can just go back.
Yeah.
And they're still there. You just go back in time and they're still there. But like I hope Riot commits more to stuff like that, where if there is like, you know, a big like magic outbreak, some big rebellion in Demacia, I hope that permanently changes Runeterra. And like
Yeah, sometimes
people might
you
get
have
upset
to
about
miss
that.
stuff.
Yeah,
The world
exactly.
changes. Like sometimes you
The
just have to
world
say
needs to
like,
be
man,
alive.
I
If it
remember that and
stagnates,
it was
it's gonna
great.
die. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like you can't let the world stay the same forever, or else nothing new will happen and people will move on. I know I would move on eventually if nothing changes in Runeterra. And we just like
Yeah.
constantly go on to the next landscape. That's the new expansion. Then we go on to the next landscape. That's the new expansion. It's like it's exciting the first couple times, but by like the fourth or fifth time where we're just going to a new area, nothing else is changing. It's like, yeah, dude. Okay.
How do you feel
Eventually, I'd
about
move
new
on from
players
that
then
game.
though?
Hmm.
So like a new player, okay, so we let's say been playing in the world of Runeterra for like 5 years, and we're way beyond, those initial starting zones. Everything's changed.
Hmm.
Do they have to kind of revamp the starting for those new players? Because technically, let's say for Udyr, right? We started in the Freljord, we're working with the shamans and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then later on, I mean, we're exploring the Freljord at that point, and
Mhm.
everything that Udyr said about going to Runeterra doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
definitely
Like
see what
that's
you
why I
mean.
feel like, yeah, sometimes you do need a little bit.
Hmm.
But I think it's okay to change the world for your character, where your character is kind of you're advancing the story, your world is changing, and if you want to replay like some of the old stuff. I don't know, man. This is it's
It's
tough to
so
solve because look
difficult
at the
because
problem
I see
Blizzard's
where you're
facing
coming
now where they
from
have
with that.
Classic Plus or
Yeah.
Classic WoW. People are going to want to play through that old stuff. But yeah, you do
Exactly.
want the
And
world to change
honestly,
and you want to say, man, that was nice when it happened.
yeah. And that's the thing is that even if like in the case of, like World of Warcraft, even if they do change, like let's say like one of the big capital cities, like Orgrimmar, a major capital city that everyone hangs out in. Let's say that changes forever in some way permanently. If they give you access to the old version and you can swap between them, everyone's going to be in the old version. Everyone's going to sit in the
Hmm.
old version, and it's just, dude, it just gets tiring after a while though.
Yeah, it does.
Like stagnation makes the players comfortable, but it also makes things boring, and players are not going to stick around even if they're comfortable. You know what I mean?
No, I would agree with that.
Like it's a very difficult thing because I think that would piss people off though, right? People are going to be mad when things change, like regardless, no
Yeah,
matter what.
people are going to be mad when things change, but things have to change. So you have to change
Yeah,
them in a
it's
way that people can still
they
go
can at least be
back,
excited about. But yeah, even then,
but it
like yeah,
doesn't.
if they can go back, are they just going to go back and then you did all that work for nothing because everyone just goes back?
Yeah, but then I like the world changing where the whole
Me
world is
too,
changing. Like I
dude.
one thing I don't like
It's
is
so
where
tough.
it's new expansion, new world. Here you go. This is your little section,
Yep,
and
this is your little
there you
island
go.
for 2 years. Get ready for the next one in the next 2 years from now. Yeah, no, I hate that because
Go.
it's like it's fun the first couple times. You just kind of get bored of it after a while. It's the same song and dance every expansion. I hope
Yeah.
Riot doesn't fall down that hole with the Runeterra MMO because it's also very easy to when you look at the map of Runeterra, right? Like it's so easy to just hop over to Ionia and just be like, "This is the Ionia expansion." You will spend the next 2 years only in Ionia, while the rest of Runeterra is frozen for no reason. Everyone's just going to kind of stagnate except for Ionia. It's super easy to fall into that hole, but I hope Riot Games, I hope that dev team is smart enough to be like, you want a living, breathing world for your MMO. That's what keeps it interesting. That's what keeps it alive. That's what keeps people coming back years after they've made their character. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. So
Dude.
one thing I want to say about too about Bandle City. So talking about this going back and exploring the old zones and not just letting them stagnate and have them ever changing. So
Mm-hmm.
Bandle City, we were talking about those portals, right? Where you can
Mm-hmm.
take these like unseen gateways to all over Runeterra, and there's like Bandlewood locations and portal locations all over Runeterra, but you need to know the Yordle language to be able to use them. I
Yeah.
would love to see that as like a canon form of travel at some point, like when we have the Bandle City
To be
expansion,
Vandal
right?
portals.
Yeah, like we're
I
able,
like
like you
that.
have this separate skill tree of Bandle portals and Bandle language where you're learning the language of the Yordles. If you are a Yordle, it's capped out at the beginning and you could automatically just travel. Just, hey, you're a Yordle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay that they're special and you're not.
Yeah, I agree because other races and
Yeah.
other classes will have other benefits that the Yordles won't have. I think that's very
Yeah. I
important
think,
too. Your choices should matter, especially in terms of your racing
yeah.
class.
And it
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be like they have this and we don't kind of thing. Like you're not a Yordle. It's okay.
Yeah,
So and then this like this whole
I
skill tree
agree.
around it where you have to learn the language of the Yordles, and then you use those portals to travel back to old zones and old places. Like that whole Bandle City expansion should be the world of Runeterra. That's what I mean by it shouldn't be just Bandle City. Okay, we're exploring the Spirit Realm, but then we also use these otherworldly portals to maybe explore. We go back to Ionia, where the Spirit Realm is starting to leak in. And then there's
Yeah.
some ties. Yeah, there's ties back to everywhere for the Spirit Realm. And so we use these portals to like go back to the old places that we explored before.
Yeah, dude. I love that idea. I'm
Hmm.
very into that. And even just like revisiting these characters again and, seeing what they're up to now as they, fight off whatever abominations are leaking out of these portals. Like,
Exactly.
dude, keep the world alive. And even like just what you said about like, yeah, your world's gonna be special in certain ways. Humans are gonna be special in certain ways. You're not all gonna be the same. That's another thing of just like comfort versus actual value and interest in the game. You know what I mean? It's just, dude,
Yeah.
there's that
I,
balance you need to find. Like, obviously, you shouldn't constantly be pulling the rug under your players, but you should sometimes.
it's it's the only time things are valued is if it took work to get it. That's why whenever you have like something that some player just buys, you can just buy something, but it's got no value.
Oh,
It's got
yeah.
not like someone sees you with that, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Versus if someone said like you need to survive. So let's stick on the creatures a little bit. Plunder crabs. They're
Thunder crabs.
mercenaries. They're crustacean mercenaries in Bilgewater. And they're pretty smart. And people hire these crustacean plunder crabs, and they're outfitted with cannons, right?
Ooh,
Obviously, because they're plunder crabs and they're in
they do
Bilgewater.
plunder. They do be
And
plundering.
they lock onto targets and they barrage them, right? And they kill them from a distance.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
They crush you
now you
completely
could
with
buy.
cannonballs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
you remember you killed these plunder crabs back when you started in Bilgewater. Now you
yeah.
could buy a plunder crab mount. That's pretty cool. Okay, plunder crab mount. It's got a little shoot animation. It's swim
Huh.
speed, but it's pretty slow
Yeah,
because it's
dude.
a
Reused
crab.
assets. Heck yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or people could buy bounties in Bilgewater on players, and depending how much money they put down, that'll determine how many plunder crabs they can purchase. And if a person is able to survive a certain amount of plunder crabs or a certain amount of bounties on themselves, like they're just walking around Bilgewater, suddenly a plunder crab attacks,
Yeah.
then you'll eventually be able to get them out. Now, if that's a difficult thing, like it's really hard to survive 100 plunder crab attack because you're isolated and you're not allowed to really get help, then it becomes like, damn, this guy's riding around on a plunder crab.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, like, literally, even if that
You
is
see the
like a
difference.
reused asset, even if that literally is just a plunder crab enemy, and they just put your character on it,
Yes.
and that's it, it'll still have so much value because then they'll see you.
Now
Like,
we
damn, that guy's
that's
riding
a
the
plunder
plunder
crab.
crab. That's the
Bro, how do you even
whispering
survive
to each other
100
in
plunder
the pub.
crabs?
That's the plunder
You know,
crab.
how do you do it? Like I would, then people are whispering him, like, bro, what'd you do to survive 100 plunder crabs? And you'd be like,
Yeah,
you know,
bro, what's the
anytime I
strat?
walked around Bilgewater, I had a health pot, I had my stamina boots, you know, every time I was around Bilgewater, I just knew that for some reason, because, and I wore this flag that said you're stupid, and people targeted me, and I knew it was coming, and so I would just be ready. And I would right away, whenever I'd see a plunder crab, I would gear change just in case they're targeting me. I wasn't sure. So
Yeah.
like, you know, then it becomes something cool. But if you just sell a plunder crab mount, well, it's just
you
a
get the
bot.
plunder
You
crab
just bought a
mount,
plunder.
and then you look at it
Yeah.
for 2 seconds, and then you log off.
Exactly.
Dude, I have so much like faith in Riot to a point where I'm scared though, right? Because I feel like they can do this
No,
stuff. I
don't
think
be
if anyone's
scared.
capable,
Don't be scared.
it's Riot. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
If
Don't be
anyone's
scared,
capable of
man.
making
It's gonna be
MMO
fine.
like the one we're talking about, it's Riot, dude.
Yes.
I genuinely think they can
I think
do it.
so
I think
too.
they can recreate those magical moments that MMOs bring. Because right now, the thing is, MMOs are just always such a big commitment that any massive company willing to do it just kind of misses the point of an MMO, at least in the modern day.
Yeah.
So I can see Riot genuinely like understanding that kind of value of farming plunder crabs for 12 hours straight to get that mount.
Exactly.
I believe.
That-
Hey,
that's-
if they can
that-
make games like League of Legends where that grind is miserable to, you know, reach any kind of valuable rank, they get it. They get the grind. They understand it.
That's why the free to play model worries me, though. I feel like with a subscription model, the problem is it's impossible to resist the temptation of selling a store mount. I think
Yeah.
it really is. Like, and I really think the Riot MMO is going to be free to play, because Riot's business model is always free to play,
has
and I
always
think
been,
free to
yeah.
play is the right move. I think it is correct.
I think for
and
the
I think
player
free to
base,
play.
yeah, I can
Yes.
see it. Because at this point, in this day and age, subscriptions really turn people off. Like, I think even
Yes.
back then, right? It was kind of like, oh, it was because like people weren't that tech savvy. MMOs were a new thing, so people were more willing to pay a subscription for this new experience. But now MMOs are pretty tried and true. People understand how servers work and that they're really not that expensive for upkeep to the point where people do not pay $15 a month for it.
Yes.
So
exactly.
yeah, people are a lot more against subscriptions than they were back then. And I think for the player base, for just like having an active player base, yeah, free to play will double it easily.
So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'm going to say about your free to play model. Free to play, 100%. I'm okay with it. That's the right direction. Do you do a store mount? I'm going to say no. And here's why. Here's why, before anyone says, but you have to sell on the store. If they're not making any money, they got to make money on cosmetics. It's perfectly okay to make money on cosmetics. But hear me out. If you just do a cosmetic store, not everyone's going to, like, I will literally never spend a penny. I'm just not. That's not me. I will never buy anything from the store. I'll play the game for free forever. And then the only way they were to do it is by selling something on the store that I'm willing to pay for. And it'll be like some stupid pay to win thing, which is, you definitely cannot do that. Here's what I will
I'm not
pay
playing the game
for.
at all. Then I'm no longer a free to play player. I'm just not a player.
Yes. So here's what I will pay for. And I think it's the right move. It's something similar. So I hope that they didn't take the wrong lesson from Legends of Runeterra, but a battle pass is the right move. And I think that it's similar to how World of Warcraft has that store thing now, where like you earn tokens from achievements and stuff like that. The trading post.
Traders tenders. Yeah, the trading post.
Yeah, traders tenders. Or in Legends of Runeterra, you do have like the battle pass thing. Although you got to remember, the battle pass doesn't really tie into anything in the game. And honestly, in Legends of Runeterra, the big thing about it is the PvE. Like the PvE is where it's really at. That's where the fun is. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't make sense to purchase cosmetics when you're playing against a computer the whole time. Uh,
Yeah.
Legends of Runeterra
I don't know
should
if everyone agrees
honestly,
with that, but I agree with that. If
yeah,
people aren't seeing my cool stuff, people don't see my cool outfit, I don't really care.
yeah. What Legends of Runeterra needs to do is sell DLC PvE content like Hearthstone. Like
Ooh.
DLC PvE content, like where you're okay, this is a whole story, a whole new adventure in the Freljord, all new cards, all new story mode, and
Hmm.
that's what you're purchasing. That's what Legends of Runeterra needs to do. I hope they didn't learn the wrong lesson about Battle Pass because Legends of Fear does have a Battle Pass and it's not doing the best right now. Uh, and that's why they're refocusing more on the PvE mode because PvP is not doing that great. And that's all I play, anyways. I play like the PvE story mode kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I hope they didn't learn the wrong lesson because I think a battle pass is the right move for the Riot MMO. And it'll keep players engaged. It's something cool. It'll help you level up. And that's something that I would be willing to pay for, right? And it's almost like a
Hmm.
monthly sub at the end of the day because you're paying. And then with the battle pass, you still feel like you're earning something. Like when I see someone who purchased the battle pass and got to that last level of the battle pass and unlocks that cool mount, that's still something pretty cool because unlocking every level on a battle pass is not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, a battle pass. Okay, I do like the idea of a battle pass in terms of monetization if they're not doing subscription based. I still think subscription based is the best method, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
100%.
yeah, but that's just me. And definitely the player base is gonna be way bigger if it's free to play, which it probably will be.
It
But
will be.
yeah.
They've mentioned it already too. It's gonna be free to play.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
not
can't say I'm
definitive,
surprised.
but
But yeah, I guess
yeah,
there's like a 90% chance, I would say, that it's gonna be free to play. It's pretty
exactly.
solid. But like, all right, so like battle pass is like, the question is, in an MMO, how do you calculate progression of a battle pass? Because like, I think an obvious way is kind of like how World of Warcraft does their end game content of like, you got your PvP that's like measured in rank and getting points that way. You got your
Hmm.
PvE content of running dungeons and raids get you points. But then at that point,
Hmm.
you're just kind of grinding dungeons and raids and PvP over and over again until you get your battle pass complete. Compared to what we talked about earlier with the magic of accomplishing something specific that is an insane grind.
Hmm.
Of like specifically, this dude got a lot of bounties put on him. People wanted him dead, and he just wouldn't die. And now
Yeah,
he has that awesome
that
crap
should
around
be a
him.
unique thing all in of itself. I think that there should be cool stuff like that where that mount is not a part of a battle pass. It's just you did it and you got it. I think the battle pass you shouldn't even have to think about it. Like you shouldn't. It
It
shouldn't
just
even be
happened.
on your mind. Yeah, like the more you play, the further your battle pass will go and you'll unlock everything just by playing. If you're leveling, you'll unlock battle pass points just from getting levels and exploring new areas. If you're at end
Oh.
game, crafting, doing anything will upgrade your battle pass. You have to like account for stupidity. Like it can't be just crafting is the fastest way. And then so someone made 100,000 socks and then they make
Yeah.
a video saying the fastest way to
Oh,
level
there's
your
so many
battle pass.
videos.
Now go buy linen cloth and craft 1 billion socks. Now, listen to me, guys. When you sell these socks, you're going to get this kind of return. And then suddenly the auction house is flooded with socks. No one's getting any return because who needs socks
Linen
at 2
cloth is
copper?
worth like 900 gold. The bots come out, start
Yeah,
farming linen cloth.
exactly. And that's what we don't want. You have to account for stuff like that, but it should be just from you playing the game that you level up your battle pass. It shouldn't be a thought thing.
Yeah, that's fair. So I see you are in that case probably suggesting a account wide battle pass across all your characters,
Oh
which I
yeah,
like that idea a lot. That like
100%.
yeah, like you're doing your weekly or whatever the heck they're gonna do for endgame progression. There probably will be some kind of endgame progression. But let's say it's like a weekly raid, like Final Fantasy 14 and like World of Warcraft. So like you do your raid for the week on your main, you get battle pass points that way. Then you hop off, go
Hmm.
on your alt, level up your alt a little bit, and just getting like achievements and exploring and leveling up, you get points in your battle pass too that way. I can see that being cool. But then yeah, it's like 100% cosmetic, right? Of like would every tier be a cosmetic? Is that what you're suggesting? Because like for
Uh,
an account
um,
wide battle pass on an MMO, I'm not sure what you do because you can't like really give like you just give like currency sometimes, and you like pick a character that gets the currency. Stuff like that is like a battle pass on MMO
I see
sounds
what you're
sick,
saying.
but it's very
Like
that'd
there's
be a
some
very new
stuff
thing
that's
that they
going to
would
be
figure out a lot
cosmetic, but
with.
it can't all be cosmetic items for every single level,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
I think that in between there has to be,
Like you
so
need
there
those
is
filler
cosmetic
tiers.
items, but then I think you do add something like the trading post. Like why reinvent the wheel? Like you'll get a currency that you can save up for the through the next battle pass kind of thing. Like
Oh
every
yeah, yeah,
level
and
you
then
get a
spend
hundred of
those
this
on
currency or
stuff.
10 of, and you could spend it. And you could even add a little bit of RNG in there where you get like a chest, but an RNG protector is you could spend the gold that you're getting from leveling up the battle pass to buy the stuff that you don't get. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like from the trading post, whatever. I think you'll
Yeah.
definitely need a currency for sure
Yeah,
that's
I agree. A
repeatable.
specific like battle pass currency of some
Yeah.
kind. Which like already I feel like it's so scary to say things like battle pass currency. But at the same time, I think there's a right way to do it. We just haven't seen it
There
yet.
is.
Right? Yeah,
Yes,
that's how
there
I
is
feel
100%
too.
a right way to
There's
do it.
a yeah,
I
there is
think
a
Riot's capable of it.
player-friendly, fun way of making that happen. It's probably not easy. I'm sure that takes some like serious dedication, development time to make that fun. But I genuinely think it could be a lot of fun and bring a lot of playability, a lot of reasons to log
I,
on.
I agree. 100%. That's, I really hope that that's the direction that we go, and that's the direction that seems best to me. That's the only direction that I think will work out in the long
Yeah,
run.
I agree. I mean, how have other MMOs? I mean, like obviously, like Guild Wars 2 has done just purely expansion based, and I think they also have an in-game shop. Is how they do it. You buy expansions and that's it. But you also have in-game shop mounts and stuff like that. Is there an MMO out there that does not have an in-game shop?
No. And I think that you would win a lot of credit with the look, at the end of the day, reputation is the most important thing. Sometimes you need to give up the
Agreed.
quick and easy dollar to build reputation. And I guarantee you,
Agreed.
I can guarantee it 100%. I understand there's no guarantees, and you talk to investors and they're not going to agree with what I'm saying.
Hmm.
If you forego the shop for cosmetic model, if you let that go and say, we're not going to do that, more people will buy a battle pass and more people will invest in a battle pass and more people will like say, okay, there's nothing here. This is the only thing that I have to buy every month. It's a battle pass. And it's not like if you take away the, I can just buy a cool mount,
Hmm.
it increases the value of the mounts that you get. And if you put a cool mount at the end of the battle pass, that will be more valued because you're not just selling a equally just as cool mount, if not cooler mount, for real cash on the store. And because of that, it increases the value of your battle pass and people will buy that. If you
Yeah.
let that go, let go of the store. Just stop it. You don't have to do it. If you
It's
let
true.
it go, I understand it's the easiest. It's so difficult because you can literally print money. You can just print it. Your earnings call is
Oh
coming
yeah.
up. You need something to pick me up. You just boom, you release a little bit of a store mount on the
Oh
store
yeah, and
and
it's
you're
big
good.
money. Yeah, yeah. But
I get it.
the
And you're a
longevity
company.
of your game.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, that's the best direction I can think of personally. And they may be thinking of something completely different, not a battle pass, not a store. And maybe if I
True. Yeah,
sat
here's
down and
something
thought about
entirely
it for
new.
hours,
Yeah, yeah.
but in my opinion, that's the best route. If you let go of the store and you release a battle pass once a month and just have people buy that, that's the way to go.
Dude, I have to agree with you. I think it wouldn't be the easiest way. I think it would definitely be like it would take some time to figure out for sure. To make a battle pass that's genuinely entertaining and genuinely engaging and fun to
Hmm.
get through, that will actually make people, look positively on it and get on to
Hmm.
play and level up their battle pass. I can imagine it's not easy, but I genuinely think it'd be massively rewarding if they do and if they actually pull that off. But
Yep. You
man,
just got to be careful. I know that maybe there'll be something where you can buy the whole battle pass in one go. You'll
yep,
buy the levels.
that's the
That's
inevitable
also
thing, right?
not
With
the good
battle
move.
passes, yeah,
You
that's
have
the
to. We
scummy
need.
part
You
of
need a
battle
way
passes
to.
is that you can do that.
Yeah, that would satisfy the whales, I guess. Which may be better
It
than
sure
trying
as
to
hell
satisfy
would.
them in another way.
Yeah. Dude, all right, but all right, the thing about whales is that whales get attracted to games that have a lot of players. All right. They want to
Hmm.
flaunt their money in front of
They do.
hundreds of thousands of players, not 10 players.
Yeah.
You do that by having a player-friendly model. And the
I
whales will
agree.
buy their battle pass, and sadly, they'll have to grind it out. But they'll buy that battle pass every month. I can tell you that much.
Man, I think I hope that that's the direction they go. We'll have to see. I know we didn't hit all the topics today, but we'll
Dude,
try to hit them next
pivoted
week.
so
I know we
hard.
said, yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I know we didn't talk about the end of Legends of Runeterra, but that's really a hot topic right now. Everyone's like, it's the end of Legends of Runeterra, guys. It's not. They're focusing on PvE. There's a whole new expansion coming out for the PvE area in Legends of Runeterra, the Path of Champions. Short take. It's not the end, but stay tuned for opinions on next episode. We didn't talk about lore consolidation, and we didn't talk about, man, we only hit 2 topics. We didn't talk about is Riot Games making a turn-based strategy game set in Runeterra. And then I wanted to talk more about player progression. We talked about how the different champions how your different characters can interact. Like we we're talking about the battle pass that kind of carries through on all your characters, which I think is the right move.
Agreed.
What else kind of carries through on all your characters? Because I do think that's important. And we missed a lot of the beasts, which I'm going to link that beastiary down in the description below.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah, we'll have to get through some more beasts next time. God, whenever we talk any topic on the Riot MMO, we will pivot. Guaranteed.
Yeah. We pretty much only covered Bilgewater, and we didn't even finish Bilgewater, but it's fine. Okay.
Dude, it's too good. It's so much fun.
So I hope you enjoyed this episode, but we will continue this conversation in the next one right here in the Brazen Hydra pub in Bilgewater. You can find me at Entgrove on socials and YouTube, and
you can find me at Conquest95 on Twitter.
And to stay up to date on the goings-on for this podcast specifically, you can follow us at the Brazen Hydra on Twitter, where you can add us questions, suggest topics, or generally just talk to us about Runeterra in general. And you could also find us at thebrazenhydra.com. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.